Welcome to Get the Facts, the show that gives you information on what you need to know. More and more these days we hear about mental health, and that's a good thing. For far too long, this issue has been passed over and ignored. But sometimes when we talk about mental health, we tend to associate it mostly with adults, when children and young people also suffer. Now that's something the Ministry of Education is working to mitigate through the National Child Month Committee. And our guest today is Dr. Michelle Campbell, Communications and Liaison Director of the National Child and Adolescent Mental Health Committee. She's also the first Vice Chair of the National Child Month Committee. And so, Dr. Campbell, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
First thing I want to know, what led to the decision to establish a Mental Awareness Day in Jamaica for children and adolescents?
We were, as a body and as practitioners and specialists, found that when we went into communities, into schools, and had conversation with parents and children alike, we were noting an increase in mental health challenges amongst our young people. Okay. We also noted that resources were not readily available, nor conversations being had with respect to these challenges. And we wanted to heighten awareness amongst our stakeholders, provide resources for our children and parents alike, and all persons who deal with our young people.
Right. So how did the month come into being itself?
We started conversations that led us to the Ministry of Education, the Youth Advocacy Arm, to the Ministry of Health through the Child and Adolescent Mental Health Division, and to the Governor General's Office.
Right.
His Excellency, Sir Patrick Allen, in 2017, established the National Child and Adolescent Mental Health Awareness Day. We also partnered with the National Child and Adolescent Mental Health Committee and also the National Child Month Committee, and forged a collaboration. So it now forms a part of the Child Month calendar, and hence the observation on May 22 this year.
Got it. You've mentioned resources being available, and I want to underline that at some point, but first and foremost, help us understand, what is it that children and adolescents are struggling with mental-wise?
So we hear that question asked often, because person will ask, what do children have to worry them? Right. What stresses do they have at this age of their lives? The first question, and what we would pose to persons who ask, is, do you think children are people too? And yes, they are people too. Yes, and as a result of that, they too have age-appropriate challenges and struggles. Right. So we are seeing a number of our children expressing and experiencing stages and issues affecting who they're being, self-esteem issues.
Right.
We see them expressing challenges, handling and managing stress. We see them expressing forms and experiencing depression. And we are looking more at that. We have seen that coming more so on the onset of COVID-19. And persons might be saying COVID-19 has passed a number of years ago, but we're still dealing with the aftermath of this experience. So the isolation has brought about the depression and comparison when the onset of the social media being on the social media platform and the comparisons that our young people are being exposed to.
Man, Doc, you'll have to come back to talk about that comparison without context.
Yes.
But would you class the situation as serious?
It is. It is.
Children?
It is serious. So studies out of UNICEF and out of the Ministry of Health and also out of the Global Health School has shown and has revealed that our children are experiencing increased mental health challenges, and increased mental health challenges that are going unaddressed. Why? Because there still lies a stigma around mental health issues.
Right.
There still lies the tale of children should be seen and not heard. So children are oppressing these feelings. So the studies have shown in 2007 through the Global Health School that 1 in 4 child experiences mental health challenges.
One in four.
Through the Ministry of Health, a survey also shows that 60% of the patients who are seen for mental health challenges and issues are under 24 years old.
Wow.
And 40% at times are amongst our young people. So it's an increasing challenge.
Wow. Wow. 1 in 4. I'm
in
still
four.
stunned
1 in 4.
by that. That's a pretty...
And those are cases that are reported.
Right, that are reported. And you mentioned the stigma. So there perhaps are quite a few more that are not
That's
reported,
correct.
that are self-diagnosing and being diagnosed by others. Just smile. Just
That's
where
correct.
you go on so far.
Or what do you have to trouble you? You're a child.
You're a child.
That's correct.
Let's come to resources. What sort of resources are needed?
This question is so important because often we hear that resources aren't available, and they are resources available. The first thing we'd like to say is that persons should own that mental health challenge and mental health issues affect everyone. It's to the degree. So the resources that we have available, of course, is through the collaboration between the Ministry of Health and Wellness and the Ministry of Education, Youth Skills and Information. And we have the Do Your Share campaign, which now goes into school and sensitize both teachers and children about mental health issues, providing resources through books, through videos, through conversations, through the wellness bench that they can use to speak to the issues, to treat with the issues, and know that it's okay if you do not feel okay, and to have conversations around it.
Wow.
That's one. In addition to that, we also have the Safe Spot, which is an initiative by the Office of the Children's Advocate, and young people can call in to the numbers associated with that, and you will get a professional counselor, psychologist to speak to with respect to your issues. Further, there is the You Matter hotline, which is available through the UNICEF, and our young people, again, can speak to that.
Call in.
And we have our guidance counselors within each school, and we have our guidance clinics within the communities that people can reach out to.
I want to talk a bit more about this, but we are at the moment of our break. We're talking about mental health issues among our children and youth, 1 in 4. When we come back, we'll take a look at how you can help. More after the break. Welcome back. Dr. Michelle Campbell, Communications and Liaison Director of the National Child and Adolescent Mental Health Committee, is our guest this week, and she's sharing with us how we can aid in the mental well-being of our children and youth. Schools, churches, youth groups in communities, but of course, underlining this one in 2 strokes, parents. How can all these groups help to aid the mental health of our children?
So first, as a nation, we need to debunk the stigma around mental health issues and mental health challenges, and have conversations to allow for persons to express how they feel. And that begins in the home. So as parents, for us to listen, allow our children to express themselves in age-appropriate ways, respectfully so, and to also provide age-appropriate resources for them to aid with managing their emotions and feelings. If we do so in the homes, then we'll have more functional young people, and by extension, a more functional people nation.
Jamaicans as a whole.
That's correct. In addition, as a church, prayer is so important. It is important to seek intervention with respect to the challenges we have. Notwithstanding, getting resources, seeking intervention, putting our membership within the church in contact with the resources available to professionally address these issues, also important. Have the conversations within the church as well to sensitize your members about these issues. That is important. From a community level, there are the community guidance clinics within each community or within each parish. And people can get an opportunity or can take the opportunity to go to these clinics to get professional help. There are also your pastors within your communities and churches who are equipped to some extent to speak to the issues. Within the schools, there are the
Schools.
guidance counselors.
Right.
There are teachers to equipped as a ministry. And when we speak of ministry, we're speaking to both ministries, the Ministry of Health and Wellness and the Ministry of Education,
Right.
to provide the resources to our teachers. And this has started and it's continuing, so they can have those conversations, so they can equip not just the children, but also parents and other stakeholders, how to handle, how to address, how to treat with the issues, the mental health issues that are faced by our young people.
So, Dr. Campbell, beyond the third Thursday in May, which is the Awareness Day, right? Every May, third Thursday, what's the long-term plans for the committee in terms of mental health awareness for the children?
To continue to sensitize, educate, and provide resources for our young people, for all stakeholders, as it relates to their mental well-being. To continue the partnership and the advocacy to ensure that we prioritize our mental health of our children, and also to invest. So that would require a partnership with other stakeholders, both locally and internationally, to provide even more resources that our teachers, that our children, that our parents can tap into. In addition to that, to continue to promote that our children's mental health is important, and there's no shame in having the conversation, to aid and to continue the advocacy that our children should be seen and heard, and in so doing, have an avenue in which they are able to, age appropriately so, responsibly so, express themselves.
I get the sense that you want to create an atmosphere where these things can be helped and dealt with, and we can all grow and recover beyond our challenges.
Oh, definitely. Because if we have healthy, happy young people, we'll have a more cohesive society of adults, because now we will be imparting in our young people how to handle conflicts, how to be able to express themselves through conversations. We're empowering them and providing them with skills to become more functional adults and thereby more functional society.
Thank you so much for that, Dr. Campbell. I felt that one coming from the heart.
It is a passion.
It is a passion.
And it should be a passion for everyone.
Right, right. You took aim at the children should be seen and not heard, but children should be seen and heard.
That's correct.
I realize that we're trying to revitalize or rebuild how children are treated in this country, and we're very appreciative of that work.
Thank you so much.
And this is where we end the program. You've heard the stats, you've heard the problems, you've heard what you can do. And so I hope you learned something. I hope you took it seriously. I hope you are planning to put your muscle into the fight to rolling back the stigma. Until next time, this has been Get the Facts. Do take care.